Okay, so for staggered stacking, we're going to line circles up across the bottom, and then we're going to put them staggered in the middle here. But they don't go all the way, but the next layer will go all the way. Just, and it will be not drawn super well, but like that, and then all the way up.
Alright.
And so this is a tiny bit harder of a problem. And what are some problems you think we're going to encounter here?
Well, we're going to leave at least some area open, and then
Okay, so we're going to have some area open here.
the
And I have to calculate the area sort of between all these circles.
All right.
Plus, this isn't going to be a super great way for small amounts of circles.
Okay, why is that?
Well, you'd leave much more of your square, at least it would look like, much more of your squares open.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had a row, you would go like if you just look here, you've got 2, 1, 2.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be very good.
Okay. Do you see any other problems with this approach?
Well, the numbers per row are different.
Okay.
So you'd have n squares, and then n circles, n minus 1 circles, and n minus 1. Not sure that's a problem, but yeah.
Okay. What thoughts do you have?
well, I'm not sure if this will really matter, but before we had them like stacked evenly,
Uh-huh.
but these ones, there's a little bit of overlap since the circle's in the divot here between these two circles.
Uh-huh.
So if you sort of draw this line, it's gonna sort of cut off the bottom
Right.
circles, but I'm not sure if that will actually pose a problem if we have to find the area.
Okay.
Because maybe if you start with this row, and if you start with this type of row on a circle or on a square, you might get different areas.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I'll always start with this one. With this row.
Alright.
We'll always start with that row on the bottom.
All right.
But does that completely solve the problem that you had?
No,
Why not?
because you could end.
Right. You don't know what you end with.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a little tricky, actually. So we're gonna have to try to figure out how to approach this problem. So what are some ideas that you have?
Well, again, we could start by calculating the number of. Maybe you could look at the number of circles in each row. So like we start with 1 and then go to 2 and then 3 in the bottom starting row.
Okay.
And then we could look at what the area of those would be and then try to calculate how many there are.
All right.
It would be reasonably easy to do.
Okay.
We could start with just simple examples, even though they're not going to be they may not be very good examples for this method.
Okay. What example would you like to start with?
Like we could do like a 2 by 2,
What do you
or
mean?
like with where you did 2 rows of spheres and then 3 rows of spheres, or circles, and then 4 rows.
What would you call this? How many rows?
Like, I would go. This would be 6, like a row 6 long. So, like with a square, you do like this 2 and then the 1,
Uh-huh.
and then I guess the row would start with 3 at the bottom. You do 3, 2, 3.
Okay.
Maybe sort of the smaller examples.
All right. Well, let's take a look. Let's start with a basic problem.